World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Jana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She was magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.
Greetings and welcome to Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse, giving you that checkup from the neck up just to get your life in order. And so, of course, there's so many things that are happening. We're ending up at the end of this year already. We're in December. Oh my goodness, so much needs to be done during this time. Now, of course, we're on the Soul City Broadcast Network, and we also are heard through WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. Proud to be able to connect to the community. And in doing so, I just want to let y'all know I do my little due diligence to make sure that those of you who have questions, please be able to share. Also, if you are desiring to get the book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker, all you have to do is contact us through my email, anajaenterprisesinc@gmail.com. Make sure I get your address because it is a physical book. I thought I had one here, but it's okay because y'all have seen it through the show, the previous shows, and it's really just to give you a guideline, especially with the new year coming in and with the economy and so many different ways of which things are going. Foundation is so necessary. Learning how money works. And the book, of course, says Stop Being a Sucker. Well, we call that book that way because when you go into the bank, and I'm not faulting the banks, but you go in, you see what to the left and the right of tellers, you see lollipops, right? Suckers. Guess what? Those suckers used to be before we started our mission to educate. It used to be dum-dums trying to subliminally tell you something. Okay, so it's all about knowledge, understanding, because if you know better, you're going to do better. And of course, we're here to help you. My office at Anaj Enterprises and Access Wealth Nation are here to help. And so if you'd like a free financial analysis, and don't get scared with the word financial analysis. It's basically figuring out where you are and where you'd like to be, and just working a plan so that you don't plan to fail. So that's what we offer. And to get that, all you have to do is call our office at 646-375-2121. I know many of you have partaken in and have gotten your analysis and probably looking for what you're going to do for the new year. You know, it's a time to make a difference and plant those seed thoughts of what you want to accomplish for the new year, because it can be done, and especially financially. We have a lot going on in our country, but if we stay focused and focused on the prize, we can achieve. And the prize is truly financial freedom. And you can achieve it. It doesn't happen overnight. It is not a get rich quick scheme. It is definitely a time to strategize. I hope y'all agree with me and hear me. And so I'm going to deal with a few things. The major thing today we're going to talk about is FinCEN, which I know some of you might not have heard of them before, and BOI, and what needs to be done. But before that, I just want to mention, for those of you who are listening, and they may get to hear this a little late, because on WHCR it's the next week. But I just want you to know that on the 7th of December is the last day for those of you who are seniors that can make changes within your Medicare program, or at least get your Medicare program analyzed. Of course, that's not the last of the last, because some of you are just now turning 65 or won't turn till next year. So there's many different avenues for you to participate in Medicare. And just for my recommendation is that it's always good to get some information and to meet with professionals. And so that's why it's so important that you share and reach out, and see if we can help you. Even my office, we're certified to be able to assist also. Just give a call, 646-375-2121. Now, just to let y'all know, as far as taxes is concerned, because that's one aspect of our office, e-filing, electronic filing has ceased for individuals with IRS. They will pick up again at the end of January, and around the 20th, they will open again for you to e-file. Now, you can paper file. Let me give you a warning. Paper file means that it may take anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks for processing it manually. Well, if that's the case, look where we're at. We're at December. Okay, so if December, we're right now in the first week, so therefore we got 3 more weeks there, and maybe 3 more weeks in January. That's 6. So, if you think about it and play your cards right, it would be advantageous for you to e-file at the end of January. You're not going to get your money any sooner by doing a paper return, because they're doing it manually. Okay, just the alert. Now, those of you who have businesses, they have not put a cease on processing business returns. So since that's still open, if you have a business, you can e-file it. If you have a nonprofit, you can e-file it, electronically file. But other than that, for individuals, which is most of us filing returns, wait till January, and then you will still process and get the refund about much earlier, even if you paper file. That's just my recommendation. Of course, you can do what you want to do. Just want to give you information on what you can do. Okay, so these are our date lines that are out here. Is Medicare on the December 7th. And of course, we've finished with the individuals, but come January, it's tax season again. Seems like it never ends. But tax laws will be out here changed. We're going to do a few shows on even the changes that will be taking place as far as taxes. It's a lot of good stuff too, some good things, and there are some challenges, but everything we overcome. So that being said, we've had other previous shows about business structure, whether you're an LLC or sole proprietorship. Let's start first, which is called the disinterested party entity. And then we have the LLCs, those that are registered with the state. And it can be a one-member LLC, two members or more, which is a partnership. It's different filing. You can have an S Corp that's an LLC, and you can have a C Corp that is also kind of strange, but you could do that. It's this registering with the state and therefore fulfilling some requirements that are a little less if the entity is exposed by itself. That being said, there's something urgent taking place right now. I don't know how many of you in that audience, our audience, have a business that is registered with the state. Those are the ones I just mentioned, the LLC, the partnerships, the S Corps. The C Corps are exempt from what I'm getting ready to tell you about BOI. So they don't have to, and mostly because they are a registered entity already that has to disclose all of the shareholders and the partners. So BOI, here we go. And I'm going to just have some slides brought up because I think that everybody is visual and needs to see what we're talking about. So FinCEN, and FinCEN stands for Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. This is the agency that is requesting and requiring disclosure of business owners' information. If you are more than a 25% or more involved in the business, owner of the business, decision maker of the business, you need to report. There's a reporting. Now I have a whole group of slides to talk to you about it, but more than anything, if you don't do this in a timely manner, which is by January 1, 2025, there is a severe penalty, a penalty of $500 per day, maximum at $10,000. Okay, I thought that would get your attention. It usually does. So, starting back at the beginning of 2024, most new and existing entities formed and are based in the United States, because they could be foreign entities also, are required to report with the U.S. Department of Treasury, FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, to disclose their beneficial owners and company applicants. Okay, so what does that mean? In terms, if you are an owner of a business, you are required to fill out this form. Now, before I go any further, I was going to hold it to the end, but no, I'm going to do it in the beginning, is that be careful. There are people out here who are charging exorbitant prices to fill out this form. The form can be filled out by an individual. There's people who have frightened folks to say that if they fill it out wrong, it's kind of difficult to fill out without with proper information. So we're going to go through step by step on it. I hope you don't mind with me today. We're going to go through, we're going to go through what this is all about. So companies that existed prior to 2024, before January of 2024, will need to file an initial FinCEN BOI form by January 1st, 2025. This is not an annual filing. You do it once and it's done, except if changes have taken place. Now, what changes? It could mean that the company closed, that their partners of the company or shareholders in the company have changed their amount that they are obliged as more than 25%. They might be a minority partner And so therefore those things need to be reported and changed within the FinCEN site. Okay. Other than that, it's only once. Now that if that should occur, you have to amend the FinCEN BOI form, and that is within 30 days, really, of the change within your company. All right. So, reporting requirements. September of 2023, this started. And what happened is it was a judgment placed where there was a moratorium taken on people having to have to file. So FinCEN released the Small Business Entity Compliance Guide to help businesses meet the beneficial ownership reporting requirements. Now that's still on their site. You can go to fincen.org.gov and be able to look at the guide. You know, the guide is useful. If it gets too complex, it's really just identifying the owners and the decision makers in the company. You know, so there are a few organizations that will be exempt from filing, like banks and corporations. But for the small business, and you know how I feel about LLCs. I said everybody had an LLC. If I got $1 for every person who had an LLC, I'd be a millionaire. Well, they know that too. But the key is not about really the businesses. What they're doing is checking to see that people are real and that there's no money laundering taking place. There's accountability, no unlawful actions taking place by having people who may be of a foreign nature coming in, setting up a business and taking the money out of the country without paying taxes, without recording it. So these are some of the reasons why this is in existence. And it has been since 2023, so it has nothing to do with the new administration coming in. Just thought I'd throw that in there. So when is the FinCEN BOI due? If the reporting company, you're a company, so that means if you would be excluded if you just had a DBA, a doing business as. You did not register it with the state. It is not an LLC. You could still have an EIN number separate, but in all intents purposes, it is really just for those who have registered their business in the state, through the state, got a filing number, and they have to. So if you are incorporated or the registered entity prior to January 1, 2024, then the initial BOI report is due before January 1, 2025. So it's due now. If the reporting company was formed after January 2024, which is during the year, then the initial report will be due 90 days following confirmation, the actual and public notices, especially for those in New York. There's another public publishing number for the corporations or for the LLCs. Incorporation papers or your registering papers from the state, the Secretary of State in the state you're in, or any similar bodies, because some states have other people that manage. So in respects to this, if you have, let's say you started your business January 30th, yeah, kind of late filing. But there's excuses and there will be extenuating circumstances. You know, if you have, I might as well say this now, if you have an LLC and it is inactive, it hasn't been active in a while, you still fill out the form, but you let them know that it's an inactive entity now. It's done. And make sure you close it up with the state. If a reporting company is formed in 2025 or later, The report will be due 30 days following the confirmation of the entity. Okay, that means the formation, the incorporation, and the registration from the state, the Secretary of State, or the similar bodies. Okay, so that just says if you've opened up in 2025, know that you have to do this FinCEN BOI report. Okay, what is a reporting company? All right. So under the CTA, there are two types of reporting companies, domestic and foreign. Okay. It's either here in the United States, or it can be one in a situation of a corporation or entity that is under the laws of a foreign country, but is doing business here in the United States. A domestic company, reporting company, can be a corporation, an LLC, or any entity created by the filing of documents with the Secretary of State or a similar office under the state, or even Indian tribal law or U.S. territory. Okay? That's a domestic company. A foreign company is reporting basically a corporation, an LLC, or other entity formed under the law of a foreign country that is registered to do business in any state or tribal jurisdiction by filing a document with the Secretary of State or similar office. So if you're formulated outside, you still need to file this form. Okay, what is a reporting company for BOI? Okay, purposes. Certain trusts can be reporting companies if they are created in a state that requires the filing the trust with the Secretary of State. Some trusts don't have to be filed. Okay, registering a trust with a court of law does not require a BOI. Now, sometimes a trust is established because it's a family trust, a business trust, trust for a child to protect the child's interest. So these do not have to file. Okay. Not all states require foreign entities to register with the state. So in respects to that is that some companies may still file the 1120F. That's a form. Talk to your accountant or financial expert, or basically talk to your accountant, I would say. Okay. Basically, it does not need at that point to file a FinCEN BOI. Okay. Foundations, churches, and other tax-free entities are normally exempt from filing if they have properly filed the 501c status with IRS, which means they've been disclosed fully to IRS. Now, sole proprietorships filing a Schedule C, those are the ones without an LLC or other entity, are also exempt. So if you are a sole proprietorship, the DBA here in New York, that's what we call them, doing business as, you may have a tax ID number, but you are not registered with the state, so therefore you're exempt from filing. Okay, this is a list of some of the exempt entities from reporting, such as securities reporting issuers, government authorities, banks, credit unions, depository institutions, holding companies, money service businesses, so that's like check cashing places, broker or dealer in securities, all basically investment vehicles, securities exchange or clearing agencies, other exchanges outside of the securities with which have acted as a registered entity, investment companies, investment advisors, okay, venture capitalists, hedge funds like that, insurance companies, state licensed insurance producers. Okay, you don't have to because they usually make it mandatory for you to use your name and open up and file your tax returns, but you don't have to do the BOI. Commodities Exchange Act registered entities, accounting firms, thank goodness, public utilities, financial market utilities, uh, pooled investment vehicles. That's also like investment clubs, tax exempt entities, entities assisting a tax exempt entity. Okay. And then large operating companies, because those are usually corporations, subsidiaries of certain exempt entities, and inactive entities. So, like I said, the inactive, if you have not been dubbed an inactive entity where the company is closed and you've already filed that it is closed, you still have to file that BOI, but just to explain that you are not active. All right. So now, where can I find the reporting? Where do I go? You go to FinCEN, FINCEN.gov. FinCEN.gov. It is all over that site. The form for reporting BOI is available on this entity. It's for the beneficial ownership information webpage. It's free to sign up. Did y'all hear? It's free. I have talked to folks and I have heard astronomical fees, anywhere from $99 all the way to $1,200. It's free to sign up for an account and easy to e-file on the website. Now I know the reason why accountants are still in business and lawyers too is that some documents you just don't want to mess with. And so you're nervous about filling it out. At least go there and look. There's a PDF version of the FinCEN BOI on the site. When opening the PDF version, this is what you'll see. If you are not on the radio, you will see that this is a simplistic form. It comes with instructions. It's worth it. Either that or you can pay someone to do it. It's just like, I tell folks when they have those short tax forms, not complicated, and they feel like, oh my goodness, I don't want to fill it out myself. They're frightened. Don't be frightened though. You really can't make much of a mistake on this, okay? Alrighty, so there's a link at the top of the page with instructions. You can save at any time during the filing. So if you really go through this and you're like, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, I'll stop. You can do that. You can come back. You can ask people questions and come back. You can save it at any time. Once you complete the form, you can validate and then you print it and then you file it. It's that simple. Okay, so here's the step-by-step. I think we got a few things here is that you're going to have to, when you're initially reporting, you've got to add some information. So they're going to ask you, what kind of entity are you? The name of the entity. They're going to ask for your tax ID numbers. And then what type of business it newly, if you have anything that needs to be corrected later, you can correct it later. The key is to put it in, get it in, You complete all of the fields that you know already, the type of business, the name of the business. And then the date prepared field is automatically filled in. So you don't have to try to figure out if I need to back date or forward date, Those are the things. Okay. So the report, you report basically two items. One is the date prepared, which is automatically filled in, and then the request to receive your FinCEN identifier. Now, what's that? Check this box if to receive a unique FinCEN identifier for the reporting company. That's an ID number. It's like on your tax returns, you can get a PIN number, or you can create a PIN. Well, here you can get it. The identifier for reporting the company, which will be provided in the submission confirmation and detailed in the BOI report of acceptance. You do and you will receive the report of acceptance. That's what you want. It's accepted. The complete fields under the legal name or alternate names, because you could have subnames on it, because some people have, like it's Jana B Incorporated, and then you've got Anaj Enterprises, and both of them are under the same LLC. Then you would put both of them on the form. Reporting company's legal name, it says here, input the reporting company's complete legal name as documented on the articles of incorporation or similar documents, which are your operation agreements. Okay. And then, if applicable, enter in the 12-digit FinCEN ID number. In some cases, you will have gotten the ID number after, and you're amending your FinCEN document. So you definitely want to make sure that you keep that ID number and put it in. It's just all a formality. Okay, so here's one more thing is that the BOI report, and it's item 19, the company's applicant's full name. Your full name, your legal name, not the, Bubba, Junie, your full legal name. Enter the company's applicant's legal or last name. And also the BOI is asking for the company's applicant's first name. That's the next line. So you have your last name, your first name, and a middle name, if it's a full middle name or if it's an initial. Also suffix, if you're a junior, senior, the third, so forth. The date of birth of company's applicant, not the company, but the company's applicant. And then the address of the company's applicant. So that's your home address. Where do you reside? So there's a space for the business, and then there's also a space for the resident. Might be the same. So don't worry about that. Is that, some people work from home. Their business is registered at home. So you just report what you know. Okay. Identifying document types. Now, choose the company's applicant identification documents, as you see here, from a list provided. Now, that includes the state-issued driver's license, the non-expired, both of them non-expired, state and local or tribe issue identification document, non-expired passport. You'll do know now you can get your passport, you can do it online as opposed to trying to do it at the post office. Also, non-expired foreign passports, only if the company's applicant lacks all the other documents, form of ID, okay? Identifying documents, you enter the identifying document number. Now, when we do your tax returns, especially here in New York, we have an ID number that is on the back of our cards, our driver's license. Some other states have different levels of identifying ID numbers. So you can check because they will point to examples. And also, if you're filing in a state, you can go to the state that you're filing in and go to their tax site, and it will show you also what they consider the tax document. Okay. These documents must be specific to the country or the jurisdiction. Yes, the territory. You're doing all of the documenting. If you're a tribal government, that gets entered in also. Uh, this, as far as your driver's license, if there's certain things that you attach a clear, readable image of the page and the side of the identifying document mentioned, and that's on line 31, but it's just your ID. You want to have a clear and precise copy of your identification. If needed, you can remove it and put it back if you don't think that it looks right. The attachments must not exceed 4 megabytes and must be in JPEG, PNG, and PDF format. PNG. Okay, only one attachment per company applicant is allowed. All right. So that being said, I don't know if there's any questions, but I would say is that don't let it get to the last minute on this. The reason being is that there's going to be a lot of people at the last day filing, trying to get in, or there'll be a lot of companies that are going to be filing for people. So it's better to get it in as soon as possible. And if there's anything that's a kickback, you can answer it. They will get back to you. So this is something that's exceeding. It's been bothering me for a while because I don't see like our chambers and our business consulting organizations. I don't hear them talking about it. I don't see a lot of commercials. And it might be because they don't believe that we have businesses in our community, but we do. And sometimes we don't have them registered properly. But even so, if you have an LLC, it should raise a flag for you. And if you're not sure whether you should file or not, you can always call our office. We'll be glad to answer that question for you. But again, I say, do the filing for yourself. It makes a difference. It makes a lot of difference. And plus you get to keep some money in your pocket. So if you're not sure what entity you are, if you are a DBA, you went to the county clerk's office and you filed papers to have and doing business as an assumed name. That's what it's called, an assumed name. If you filed those papers, you're exempt. Now, if you did the same thing and went to the county clerk's office and you registered papers as an LLC, but it's only you got to file this form. Okay, that's basically, even though you're a sole proprietorship, you have to file the form. Okay, if you have more than you, partners, if they are more than 25% interest in the company that you have as partners, you all have to fill out the form. And it's one together for the company, but you'll have where each person that's involved in the company, who has a position in the company, who probably are on your operations agreement, each one of you must provide the information and provide the documentation to make sure that you have fulfilled that requirement of BOI. The other thing is, as far as a subchapter S company, there may be people who are not necessarily the key folks, but they own more than 25% of the company, and they have a say-so in the operations of the company. They too have to provide the information to FinCEN on that same. So you all get together, get the information, and send it off. Well, it would be e-filed. Most of them are e-filed um, to provide. Like I said, don't be frightened. It is one of those things that we just have to do to make sure that we're not trying to hide anything, because that's what they're expecting, is people are going to try to hide, and they have another subliminal idea for their for their business, not necessarily a good thing. So therefore, it's best to be upfront. Um, and so those are the things that you need to do. And like I said, as a corporation, you don't have to worry about it because your corporate records will stand for you. Now, since we're talking about this fencing, something has come to my attention. And I think it's one of those situations that not necessarily people know that they're really supposed to report. My brothers and sisters that have more than $10,000 out in different countries outside of their residence of the United States, they need to report when they do their tax returns foreign income. And if it's over $10,000, you need to make sure you report. There's some questions. Where is it? Now, some people are frightened behind that, but it's better to report it. As you all, I'm sure you know that if you're carrying more than $10,000 in and out of the country in cash, you have to report. It's not saying you can't do it. It's just saying that you need to report that you have it on your person or availability. Okay, that's part of the rules. Now, I know I have some folks out there who say, well, I only put it in the bank, or I put somewhere 3,000, and then I do another 3,000, and I do another 3,000, and therefore I'm under the 10. Even if you do like that 9,000, and you do it within a month or 2 months period, you do know there's still going to be a currency report. Again, don't be afraid of the report. You just need to tell where the money comes from. No one's going to take it away from you. But it is needed to be reported. On your tax returns, when you go to your accountant or you're doing your taxes, that's one of the questions. Do you have any money outside? Did you receive any interest or dividends from an investment? The key is report, report, report. That's all that you're going to do is to report to make sure that you are within compliance. And so these are the things that we have to do. There's nothing wrong with what we do. It's just the fact that we got to report. So I'm looking to see, are there any questions or anything regarding, okay, I'm not seeing my little section that usually lets me know if there's questions. I'm hoping that everything I gave was clear. Again, this is a time that you can put your thoughts together and figure what you want to do and where you want to be. There are a lot of things happening. It's interesting. I think it was yesterday that Bitcoin went up to 100,000. Now, I'm not advertising Bitcoins at all or recommending. I just thought it was interesting that it had grown in price. But the thing is that my question always to everyone who invests in it, I say, how you get it to the Federal Reserve notes? How do I get to cash this in? There are many entities that are out here at this time. You want to talk to a financial educator, someone who's a certified financial educator who will be able to not just sell you something, but to spend the time teaching you something. Also, I might as well put my ploy out there because I've had the wonderful experience of talking to different groups during the year, and I'm open to doing seminars for different groups, any groups. Especially, I really would love to do more on women, uh, women in finance. For some reason, these things are sort of pushed to the side. We just finished having in October domestic violence month. We've had financial literacy month. We have all these months working towards our education. And so my team is positioned to educate, to help and give some serious seminars. So starting January, we're going back into a regular series of information seminars. And again, we're going to be doing some workshops. It is so important that this educational portion gets done. And so Soul City has shows on it. We have our past shows. I would suggest those of you who are business owners to look at the show that we did on business structure. Why? Because this makes sure that you're in the right business structure and that you're in business, not looking for a loss. It is a time of where we really have to spend a lot of time paying attention to our finances. We pay attention to everything else. We just don't happen to pay attention to our money or how money works. We know how to spend it. We do know how to make it, but we do know how to spend it. And unfortunately, we just don't know how to make it work for us. And that's why you need to sit with the professionals and take that time. So if there's no questions, I can close a little early today. It has been a wonderful way to start the ending and the closing of our year, to get a chance to meet with you all. And hopefully at some of the holiday parties, if you see me, stop by and say hello. And hopefully you're enjoying our sessions. Okay. What is the penalty? Oops. What is the penalty for not registering? Oh, I thought I had said that. It is, but I'm glad you brought it back up. And the penalty is $500 per day that you did not have the filing. So January 1, January 2 is $500. January 3, $500. Continuously until it's $10,000. Now, there are some ways with the penalty. If you say, well, I didn't know that I was mandated to file, you better have a good reason. If it was illness, family issue, something, be able to explain why you did not file. One of the things that I really fault FinCEN is that they really should have really done more publicity on it. But again, all government entities have a way of raising funds. So it's one of those things that they're collecting cash. And the key is, it would be so much easier if you had just fill out the form. But the penalty is $500 per day, up to $10,000. That could put somebody out of business. And that's where my concern is. And that's why I think that all groups and entities out here should be telling folks and showing them how to fill out that form. And at least try, Nothing beats a trial but the error. So at least try. Anything else? We're good. I know I'm a little early, but this I didn't want to take a short time to do it, but it is a lot of information, and I'm hoping that those of you who listen to the show to definitely replay it, because it's important that you do it. Now, don't be secret agents either. This is something that has to be done, and that there are people who are in business for themselves, or they have a small business. Please tell them and just say, by the way, do you know about this FinCEN BOI. As I go around, I tell people the same thing. I tell them, and I mention it to them, and they tell me they had never heard of it. And so it's very important. I hope that you get this out. You can share this show with others, and hopefully they'll get on the good foot and make sure they don't give $500 per day. When I first heard that $500, it hurt my heart. We don't have to fall into these penalties. And then the thing is also if you have money that is outside the country and you don't report it, those are very hefty penalties. Some can go up to $10,000-$15,000 in one shot. So don't do that. Make sure that you know. And if not, ask somebody. You can always call our office at Anaj Enterprises. It's at 646-375-2121. Or if you're just looking to have have a free financial analysis, give the office a call. If you want the book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker, please feel free to contact our office by Anaj Enterprises Inc. at Gmail and say, I want the book. Some of you have, a lot of people have gotten the books. I got some books before we were waiting for publication. But we have books, so definitely, reach out and get the book. But of course, if you get the book, read the book. It's important to make a difference. Okay, so I think I have everything that I covered. I'm looking forward to next week. We're going to start closing out this year next week. Let's see. So today is the 4th. We have the 11th. Today's the 5th. Oops, excuse me. 5th, the 12th. And before we know it, it will be true holiday time. We'll have the Christmas and the and Kwanzaa, and we'll go into the new year prosperous, because that's important to keep that mindset, being prosperous. So y'all have a good night. This is Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse. We're signing off, and I'm hoping that you keep your mind positive and keep a positive mental attitude, and also work diligently in keeping your family legacy going and making sure that it goes from generation to generation of financial freedom. So thanks for listening, and have a good night. You are listening to Access Wealth Nation on the Soul City Network.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is magic.